I would focus more on the government service opportunities that are available in the state of West Bengal. Um, the nodal agency for conducting the elite, civil service examinations in West Bengal is the West Bengal Public Service Commission, and it primarily conducts two kinds of examination. One is the West Bengal Civil Services Examination, which is, if I may say so, is the equivalent of the State Civil Services exam format of the UPSC. So it's a combined examination for a lot of different posts at the higher and subordinate administrative positions. Besides this, a lot of other exams are also conducted, which are for slightly lower level posts like clerkship and supervisory roles and sub-inspector of schools. I will first move into the West Bengal Civil Service Examination, which most candidates target. So, the West Bengal Civil Service Examination is basically the successor of the erstwhile Bengal Civil Services, which was started during the British era. And as most of you would be knowing that the Imperial Civil Service and Bengal Civil Service were the elite services in the early 20th century and late 19th century in India. So this is the legacy of this examination, and it is conducted every year, once every year, and fairly regularly. And it's quite a well conducted examination. The basic eligibility and age criteria for this examination is that you need to be a graduate from any recognized university. And for the age limits, for general candidates, for all posts except Group B, is from 21 years, and maximum age is 36 years for general candidates. For Group B, which is for the West Bengal Police Service, the age limit starts from 20 years. There is a relaxation of 5 years for SC and ST candidates and 3 years for OBC candidates. However, this facility is only available to residents of West Bengal. For outside SC, ST and OBC candidates, they will be treated as general candidates only. Bengali is a necessity as a qualification. However, for those from outside the state, there are many people from Bihar, Jharkhand, and even UP who apply for the WBCS examination every year. And we have officers from those states in the state civil service as well. So Bengali, the requirement is very basic, and it is not tested at the written examination stage. It is only tested later on when the interview is happening. And anyways, those who qualify the exam are trained in Bengali at a later stage for a more fluent understanding of the language. Coming to the scheme of the examination, there is an initial preliminary examination of 200 marks, which is conducted mostly in the month of January and February. Those who qualify the prelims, they have to appear for a mains examination, which is of 1600 marks. And finally, there's an interview or personality test of 200 marks for groups A and B. For group C and D post, this is only of 150 marks. So what is the syllabus of the prelims examination? It is quite similar to all other preliminary examinations, including the UPSC as well as other state civil service examinations. So English composition, general science, history of India, Indian polity and economy, general mental ability, current events of national and international importance, geography of India with special reference to West Bengal, and Indian national movement. So there are 8 subcategories here, and each of these will have 25 marks. Unlike UPSC or some other state civil service exams, there is only one paper in the preliminary exam, not 2. So the same paper includes general studies as well as maths and reasoning ability. And the number of questions from each of these topics is also fixed at 25. Now, one thing that you might think that, with special reference to West Bengal, let me tell you the number of questions with special reference to West Bengal is very limited. And a cursory glance at some of the past year question papers would be sufficient to prepare for that. Usually the preparation for this exam can be taken with all other exams. There's no special requirement as such. As far as mains is concerned, there are 6 compulsory papers that need to be taken, of which 2 are language papers, which are subjective and written, and other papers are all of MCQ type, even in the mains. The answers to the subjective papers have to be written in the respective language paper, which is either English or Bengali. the language papers could be out of 4 or 5 languages that are available in the syllabus. Other papers can be taken in either English or Bengali, which means that the MCQs will be either in English or Bengali. Most people take it in English who are from outside. There is negative marking for the wrong answers of the MCQ type questions in the mains examination. The exam pattern is compulsory papers consist of one language paper, which is of the vernacular language. There are 5 languages which are available to students: Bengali, Hindi, Urdu, Nepali, and Santhali. Well, as far as English is concerned, there will be a paper which will include letter writing, report drafting, translation from a particular vernacular language, whatever the student has selected, maybe Hindi, Urdu, Bengali, whatever, to English, and grammar and composition. General Studies 1 and 2 papers. Here, General Studies 2 comprises of science and environment. General Studies 1 is basically history and geography. And there's another paper of Constitution of India and the Indian economy, and one more paper of numerical and reasoning ability. As I said, other than the language papers, all the other papers are of objective type, which will carry negative marks. One optional paper is there, which has to be written. It is also of optional type, objective type, and it is not required for those who apply only to the Group C and D posts. And once somebody clears the mains examination, they can appear for the personal interview. Now, the WBCS exam consists of 4 different types or category of posts. There are the Group A services, Group B services, Group C, and Group D. Now, unlike some other states or other examinations, the difference between A, B, C, and D are not really as per, that the C and D are very low-level services. These are all administrative services, because the WBCS itself is the elite examination for all the higher administrative jobs. So Group A services comprise of the topmost rank, like the equivalent of the IAS would be the WBCS executive. The IRS would be the West Bengal Revenue Service. The equivalent service of Group B is West Bengal Police Service, which is not a subordinate service. It is parallel, but it is categorized separately because there are few special requirements for that. For example, certain height and weight requirements. And Group C and Group D services are there. The posts are allotted on the basis of the preferences of the students, the rank in the merit list, and the category-wise vacancies that are announced for that particular year. So some of the important positions of Group A services are, like, as I said, WBCS Executive, West Bengal Revenue Service, Cooperative Service, Labor Service, Food and Supply Service, Employment Service. Group B comprises of only one post, which is the West Bengal Police Service. Group C comprises of a number of posts. 9 posts are there. Some of them are very important, like the Joint BDO, the Superintendent of District Correctional Homes, Junior Social Welfare Service, and others. Commercial tax officers also fall in the Group C service. Group D comprises of 3 posts: Inspector of Cooperative Societies, Panchayat Development Officer, and others. Now, other than the WBCS, there are a lot of post-specific examinations conducted by the West Bengal PSC. So many students who are listening to us, some of them may not be able to go on till graduation, or they may want to appear for certain specific posts which they have specialized in during their graduation. There are many students who, for various reasons, are not able to complete graduation, so they have studied class 10 or 12. So the important thing is to understand that there are government service opportunities available for all these levels of education. So the general format for all these is that they have separate examinations, but the syllabus, the examinations are mostly of objective type and very similar to the other examinations that a student prepares for. So you will have English verbal ability, maths and reasoning, general studies, current affairs. And in case you're applying for a certain post which requires specialized graduation or post-graduation requirements, then you will have certain subject-specific questions. These are only for technical positions. And not all of these posts have a personal interview. So some of them are just through the written examination itself. And not all of them require a knowledge of Bengali also. So you can only take the exam in English and clear the exam. But all of them have separate notifications. And at the end of the presentation, I will let you know some of the links where you can refer to know the exact requirements of each different post. So like, for example, for class 10 pass, there are posts like fire operator, livestock development assistant. There's a clerkship examination, which only requires a class 10 qualification. There are class 12 eligibility requirements, the Udayan Palan Prajukti Sahayak, which is basically horticulture post. Then for any graduate from any stream, there are separate exams that are conducted outside the WBCS, like miscellaneous service recruitment exam, motor vehicle inspector, industrial development officer. So these are all separate exams conducted for graduates who may not go into WBCS per se, but who want to hedge their risks and also appear for these kind of exams. A lot of these separate posts are also notified every year. Similarly, for postgraduates, there are posts like District Mass Education Extension Officer, Sub-Inspector of Schools, and certain specific posts like botanist and librarian, which require a master's degree in the respective fields. Apart from that, the PSC also conducts specialized exams for like the West Bengal Judicial Service Examination or Law Officer Examination, where LLB requirement is there, Forest Service, for which BE, BTech is required, Assistant Architect, where BArch is required, and Audit and Account Service, where a commerce background is required. So these are also certain specialized posts which are announced, and they require specific examination. So students who are appearing for the general exams can also, if they have a certain specialization in any of these fields, can also appear for these kind of exams. Again, Bengali is not a requirement in all of these exams. So person who knows English can take these exams as well. Now, briefly, how to prepare for so many exams. The basic criteria is that 80% of the syllabus for all these exams is common. So you have to study the same things like English, maths, current affairs, and general studies. So you can prepare for all these exams along with your UPSC or any other state civil service exam that you are taking. And what is important is for those who are still in school or still in college, pay attention to your school and college studies, because most of these would be required for the competitive exams as well. So pay good attention and study hard. Read newspapers daily. I think these strategies are very common. Refer standard textbooks. I have cracked the UPSC and I'm an IS officer. I can tell you that there are plenty of books available in the market, but you should always reduce your sources. Make sure that you have only a very limited few sources from which you refer, and you revise them continuously. And I cannot overemphasize the importance of practicing mock tests. Refer past year question papers for all the exams that you want to appear to. See the kind of questions. You will usually see questions being repeated or similar kind of questions appearing. So you will know which areas of a subject like history or geography or something to emphasize for a particular examination. For further information, these are the links. You can just Google Public Service Commission West Bengal. They have 3 websites. You can go to any of them. Then there are certain websites like Recruitment Guru, Freshers World. These all provide important information about the different exams that are conducted across all states. So you can always refer to these. There are a plethora of examinations that students from other states can also take in the regional states.